Today, a judge sentenced the son of Burns police chief to 3 years home detention and 5 years probation.
This all comes after 23-year-old Andrew Taylor pled guilty to molesting the family's 13-year-old foster child. News Channel 15's Sarah Schaefer has that story.
The family of Andrew Taylor seemed content with the sentencing, smiling as they left the courtroom. As for the victim, she wasn't here and there was no one here representing her. After his plea agreement is accepted, 23-year-old Andrew Taylor was ordered 8 years, 5 on probation and 3 on home detention. Far from what Wes Schemenauer, special prosecutor out of Jay County, wanted.
I asked for a 12-year sentence with 4 of it suspended, meaning 8 years executed in prison. I felt like the aggravating circumstance in this case being that the defendant was in a position of trust with regard to his victim certainly outweighed the mitigating factors.
The victim was the Taylor family's 13-year-old foster child. According to court documents, back in October, Taylor asked her to perform oral sex on him, and she agreed. He later told his father, Burns Police Chief Tim Taylor, before turning himself in. The judge ruled the fact Taylor self-reported, sought help, cooperated, and took responsibility carried more weight than the prosecution's factors. In addition, the fact that he is in counseling, he didn't threaten to hurt the victim, and it can't be said she is suffering. That's because she wasn't there, nor was anyone representing her. Is there anything you wanted to say, Drew?
No, thank you, ma'am. We're good.
No comment. Are you happy with the sentencing? Will you be speaking with us? The judge had powerful words for Taylor regarding his brother, who was killed in the military in 2012. He said he should be honoring the living and the dead.
I think the judge sort of nailed it on the head that it's really not an excuse for that kind of behavior. Certainly in these kind of situations, it's very difficult on the family. For everybody, it's really a tragedy all the way around.
We asked the prosecutor if he thinks home detention is equivalent to jail time. He said no. Reporting from Decatur, Sarah Schaefer, News Channel 15.
Blue privilege, son of police chief pleads guilty to child rape gets only house arrest. A police chief's son in Indiana pleaded guilty to molesting the foster child living with his family, and was sentenced to only 3 years of house arrest. By Rachel Blevins, June 28, 2017. Adams County, in a 23-year-old man in Indiana pleaded guilty to molesting a 13-year-old foster child living with his family, and was sentenced to just 3 years of house arrest. Now his family ties are being called into question. Andrew Taylor is the son of Tim Taylor, the police chief in his hometown of Bern, Indiana. Waney.com reported that Andrew Taylor asked the young girl who had been placed with his family to perform oral sex on him, and she agreed in October. He then told his father about what he did and turned himself in, according to court documents. Jay County prosecutor Wesley Schemenauer told Waney.com that he does not think Taylor was let off on such an incredibly light sentence because he is the son of the local police chief. That's why I was asked to be on the case as a special prosecutor, because I don't have a relationship with the Bern Police Department or know the Taylor family at all, Schemenauer said. I don't feel like he was treated, from the state's perspective, any differently than any other offender in a similar circumstance. Waney.com reported that the judge ruled that the fact Taylor self-reported, sought help, cooperated and took responsibility carried more weight than the prosecution's factors. He also made his decision based off of the fact that Taylor didn't threaten to hurt the victim and it can't be said she is suffering. However, it should be noted that while the judge seems to have only taken Andrew Taylor's well-being into consideration, there appears to be very little mention of the 13-year-old girl he molested. The victim, who was a foster child placed into the Taylor family's home, was put into an inappropriate situation at the hands of Andrew Taylor, his parents, and the state. Read more. Breaking, raw video shows cops shoot, kill subdued man, mock him while he lay dying. Despite the fact that this girl was the victim in the case, she reportedly had no legal representation, her state of well-being was assumed rather than verified, and she is said to have been placed in a different foster home. In addition to spending 3 years on house arrest, Andrew Taylor will be on probation for 5 years. It is not clear as to whether Taylor will be forced to register as a sex offender, or whether his parents, the local police chief, and his wife will still be allowed to house foster children after this egregious incident. As the Free Thought Project has reported, this is not the first time a police chief or his relatives have faced lenient treatment. Blue privilege extending to a sex offender police family member should come as no surprise, as police officers having sex with underage victims is, unfortunately, a fairly common practice. Police sexual misconduct is so common that more than 1,000 officers have had their licenses revoked in just the last 6 years for it. Nearly half of them involve underage victims. According to a scathing report, around 1,000 policemen across the U.S. had their licenses revoked and lost their jobs over the last 6 years on account of numerous sexual offenses that included rape and possession of child pornography. Half of these victims were underage. Sexual misconduct is the second highest of all complaints nationwide against police officers, representing 9.3% in 2010, according to a study by the Cato Institute's National Police Misconduct Reporting Project. A cop in Plano, Texas was arrested twice within a 3-week period for indecency with a child and possession of child porn. Read more. Washington, D.C. protesters block streets in Michael Brown's Solidarity March. We also reported on an officer in charge of a rape case who is accused of stalking and sexually harassing the victim. Oklahoma made headlines with 3 serial rapists, in 3 weeks, all officers, as well as 1 police chief molesting children. Officer Daniel Holtzclaw was one of the worst serial rapists of all time, and he was given authority over innocent people. An officer of the month brutally raped a young woman on the hood of his car, at gunpoint. He was later found not guilty after he merely claimed that the girl was asking for it. A former New York Police Department officer convicted of planning to kidnap and rape women before killing and eating them was set to go free after a federal judge overturned his conviction. Or how about the police officer that was found guilty of raping a girl with a pencil? She was 5.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too, because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if some, if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a, let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But, do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, if I got, you know, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. You know, 47,000 of you so far right now. You know, $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.